Part 1. The Signal. I never liked the silence in space. A dull hum, like an old refrigerator, was my constant companion aboard the Rabble Rouser, a name ironically fitting for a surveyor ship tasked with exploring the fringes of known space. It wasn't designed for combat or heroics, just long stretches of solitude and the occasional fight with boredom. We were somewhere in the Jargonia sector when the signal came through. A ghostly whisper over comms that set the hairs on my neck to attention, much like the time I accidentally watched my grandma's holiday greeting in reverse. "Hey, Captain Valen, you seeing this?" That was Kaya, my engineer and constant complainer. She claimed the ship's coffee tasted like boiled socks, but there were worse things in life, like whatever was happening on the main screen. "I see it," I replied, my fingers dancing over the console. A binary sequence unfurled across the monitor, pulsing with an urgency I hadn't felt since the last time we nearly crashed into an asteroid belt. "That's not normal, right?" Kaya's voice crackled through the comm link. "You'd think as experienced as we were, we'd have a manual for this. But manuals are for people who don't crash parties or ships for a living." "No," I muttered, intrigued yet cautious. "It's a distress signal and it's old, really old, maybe even pre-Exodus." Kaya made a noise somewhere between a gasp and a snort. "You mean before humans left Earth? That's ancient. What do we do?" I felt a familiar tug from deep within, a compulsion to unravel the unknown, and this signal was singing a siren's song. "We follow it," I decided, ignoring the sensible voice in my head that sounded eerily like my second-grade teacher. With a nod, Kaya activated the thrusters, and we set a course toward the uncharted nebula from where the signal emanated. The colors outside shifted from the usual blues of space to an iridescent swirl as we breached the nebula's edge, each star outside gleaming like eye-catching gems. "Just as I thought," I murmured. A colossal structure loomed ahead, a twisted metal megastructure floating listlessly, draped in cosmic dust. It reminded me of a Gothic cathedral crafted by a mad architect, its spires and arches reaching out to the infinity of space. Kaya whistled low. "That's no space station, it's a relic." "And it's why we're here," I replied, though my confidence wavered as the enormity of our discovery sank in. "Can you patch us in?" Kaya's fingers flew over her console like a pianist in the final act of a symphony. "Linked," she confirmed, but still processing the language. The signal was a beckoning echo, enticing. Yet, as the message translated, its tone shifted from a plea for help to something more sinister, a warning. I felt a chill despite the ship's regulated temperature. "Captain, you might want to hear this," Kaya said, her voice laced with unease. The translation read, "Do not enter, leave while you still can." I hesitated. We were explorers, not quitters. But I couldn't ignore the cold knot forming in my stomach. Something was off, and if I ignored it, I'd be as foolish as the time I tried using a toothbrush to unclog an engine filter. "I'm going in," I decided, hearing Kaya's exasperated sigh echo over the comm. She often suggested my head was filled with more curiosity than sense. Despite the warning, we docked, the docking bay of the structure welcoming us with eerily lit runways. The hum of our ship blended with the ambient noise inside the structure, a haunting melody of what once thrived here. I led the way, Kaya close behind, her multi-tool at the ready like a modern-day warrior armed for the bazaar. The air was tinged with the metallic scent of ozone and abandonment. The architecture inside was an unsettling blend of organic curves and harsh, cold steel, like stepping into a biomechanical beast. "Do you hear that?" Kaya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. A soft chittering sound emanated from the shadows, an alien life form perhaps. This was the kind of mystery that could keep me up at night, like a good crime novel with the pages stuck together. "Stay alert," I advised, though tension washed over me as we advanced. The central chamber opened up before us, a vast hall lined with consoles and faded holographic displays. It felt like entering a tomb, its secrets etched in cryptic symbols. But before I could delve further, the chittering grew louder and the temperature plummeted. From the shadows slithered a creature, a serpentine form of translucent scales and luminescent fins that danced like ribbons in zero gravity. It moved with a grace that belied its size, eyes like pools reflecting the universe's birth and demise. Kaya gasped, "I've read about these symbratics. They're telepathic." Her voice held a mix of awe and unease, as if meeting a celebrity without makeup. The symbratic studied us for a moment before it projected its thoughts, a sequence of images and emotions that spoke of loss and protection, of a guardianship imposed upon the structure. What we stumbled upon wasn't just a relic, it was a prison, and the symbratic its eternal warden. "We should leave," Kaya suggested, tugging my sleeve. She wasn't often wrong about impending doom, her hunches as reliable as ship diagnostics. "No," I countered, the pieces falling into place. The warning wasn't about the structure itself, but what it contained. The signal was meant to deter, not deceive. If I turned back now, I'd spend the rest of my life haunted by the unknown. "Valen," Kaya began, but the floor shuddered beneath us. The ship's alarms blared to life, summoning us back with a sense of urgency that eclipsed even my reckless curiosity. We ran, each step accelerating, driven by the instinct to survive. The docking bay swarmed with drones, their bright eyes like judgmental stars focused on us. Disabling them was out of the question. They were too many, too swift. We sprinted, adrenaline sharpening my senses as we barely slid through the closing hatch, feeling the oppressive silence outside once more. The Rabble Rouser roared to life, and we launched away from the structure, its solemn silhouette shrinking into the nebulous void. The symbratic's image lingered in my mind, a reminder and a promise of what lay beyond the veil. The adventure was far from over, and I knew that I'd return, for curiosity is a demanding mistress, never satisfied with partial truths. But that was a pursuit for another day. For now, we were alive, and the promise of tomorrow flickered in the distance, as beautiful and unknowable as the stars themselves. Part 2: The Echoing Void. Back aboard the Rabble Rouser, I struggled to shake the lingering sense of unease. The symbratic's presence haunted my thoughts, its cryptic warnings echoing as if spoken by the void itself. We charted a course away from the megastructure, but it clung to my mind like an unsolved riddle mocking my inability to comprehend its vast implications. Kaya and I sat in the cramped lounge, the ship's autopilot humming a monotonous serenade as it guided us to the closest orbital station for resupply. Kaya sipped her coffee, grimacing as though it was the culprit of all the galaxy's misfortunes. "Why do we always find the weird stuff?" she mused, half joking, her eyes searching mine for answers I didn't yet have. "Because the universe never runs out of surprises," I replied, staring into the depths of my own cup, swirling with an unappetizing blend of space-grade caffeine and powdered creamer. "It's like a box of mysteries. You never know which one might explode." She chuckled despite herself, though the humor barely lifted the shadow cast by our recent encounter. "Still, we should probably let someone know about that thing. It feels unfinished." Her words trailed off, and I understood. In a universe so vast, having answers meant having control, or at least the illusion of it. I nodded, resolving to send a report to the Unified Galactic Exploratory Council. They specialized in cataloging anomalies, though they often treated the job like a librarian filing dangerous tomes in a forgotten corner of a library. But first, we needed to focus on repairs. We were down a handful of essential components after our rushed departure. The orbital station came into view like a speck growing into a bustling hive of activity. A ring of ships, both merchant freighters and more obscure vessels, hovered around it in rhythmic choreography. As we docked, the transfer of gravity sent a comforting jolt through our bones, a reminder that we were back among human constructs, if only temporarily. The station's market was a vibrant chaos of traders and travelers, the air tinged with the scent of exotic spices and ozone. Mechanical hums blended with chatter in a myriad of languages, each an invitation to explore or, more likely, to empty your pockets. I left Kaya to haggle for parts, trusting her with the credits like a dragon trusts its gold. Meanwhile, I wandered through the crowd, my thoughts still tethered to the Symbratic and its enigmatic message. The station's vast atrium opened above me, lined with stalls and small kiosks, each vying for attention with flashing signs and gregarious vendors. It was here, amid the throngs, that I saw something, or rather someone, who made me pause. A cloaked figure stood to the side, their eyes hidden beneath the shadow of a wide-brimmed hat. They were observing the crowd with an intensity that suggested a hunter seeking prey, or perhaps a scholar studying an evolving equation. Our eyes met, and I felt a jolt of recognition that I couldn't place, like a forgotten song suddenly heard in a dream. The figure approached, gliding through the crowd with preternatural ease. "Captain Valen," they said, voice as smooth as polished glass, yet carrying the weight of 1,000 unsaid tales. "I hear you've been meddling with forces best left undisturbed." I blinked, caught off guard by their knowledge. "And you are?" "An interested party," they replied enigmatically, producing a small device from their sleeve and pressing it into my hand. It was an ancient keycard, its surface worn but functional. "You're not the first to stumble upon that relic." I examined the keycard, its design intricate yet familiar in its retro simplicity. "What does this unlock?" "Access," the figure replied, succinctly cryptic in a way that suggested they had mastered the art of conversational haikus. Before I could ask more, the figure melted back into the crowd, leaving me with more questions than answers. I returned to Kaya, my mind buzzing with the implications of this new development. "Find anything interesting?" she asked, juggling an armful of spare parts with the practiced dexterity of someone who knew precisely how to navigate a bazaar. "Maybe," I replied, showing her the keycard. "I think it's part of whatever we're tangled up in." Her eyebrows shot up, her expression a blend of intrigue and concern. "And you're planning to use it, aren't you?" I shrugged, slipping the keycard into my pocket with the air of someone preparing to leap off a cliff just to see if they can fly. "It seems we've been invited to the party. Would be rude not to attend." The journey back to the Rabble Rouser was filled with anticipation, our minds racing with theories and half-formed plans. As Kaya installed the fresh components, I pondered our next move. This was the kind of unknown that whispered promises of adventure and danger in equal measure. Once the repairs were completed, we set a course back toward the nebula, the keycard burning a metaphorical hole in my pocket. The universe was beckoning us toward a larger truth hidden among the stars, and the unraveling mystery held the allure of a grand celebration, one where the dance was as perilous as it was thrilling. The void stretched before us, an endless canvas awaiting our exploration. As we sped through the starlit dark, I couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration, a thrilling rush that comes only from chasing the ephemeral glow of understanding. Yet amid the anticipation, a small voice reminded me, curiosity and recklessness are close cousins, and this journey might demand more than we were willing to give. But for now, the call of the unknown was a symphony, and we were its eager audience, ready to uncover the truths that lay just beyond the edge of perception. Part 3. The Resonant Echo. The Rabble Rouser hummed steadily as we cut through space, the nebula's swirling colors once more on the horizon. The weight of the ancient keycard felt heavier in my pocket with each passing light year, a tangible anchor to whatever awaited us in that foreboding structure. Kaya, ever the pragmatist, was in the engine room, fine-tuning our sensors to better navigate any surprises lurking there. She emerged, wiping her hands on a rag. "Are we really going back to that haunted hulk?" There was a hint of jest in her tone, a shield against the uncertainty that lay ahead. I nodded, the resolve in my chest as firm as the steel beneath our feet. "We have to. This is bigger than us, and it feels like the key to something significant." Kaya raised an eyebrow. "Well, as long as it's significant, wouldn't want to risk our necks for something as mundane as interstellar tax evasion." I chuckled, the sound mingling with the soft beeps of our navigation system. Humor was our balm against the looming unknown, a brief respite from the tension coiling in our guts. The nebula's edge soon enveloped us, the ship's hull shimmering under the ethereal glow. The megastructure loomed once more from the mist, its vast shape an imposing shadow against the vibrant backdrop. Docking was smoother this time, our intentions clear and guided by a strange sense of belonging, as if the ship itself recognized the call to return. Inside the docking bay, the atmosphere felt charged, as though the structure anticipated our arrival. The air was thick with the scent of antiquity and forgotten stories, curling around us like ghostly tendrils as we navigated towards the central chamber. "Here goes nothing," Kaya muttered, her voice a whisper lost in the cavernous space. I slid the keycard into a slot on the central console, its surface lighting up with a flicker of ancient energy. The chamber shifted, walls parting to reveal a hidden passage, its archway glowing with an inviting luminescence. The path stretched before us, a dazzling corridor leading into the heart of this mystery. Kaya and I exchanged a glance, equal parts trepidation and excitement, and stepped forward. Every surface we passed thrummed softly, the structure alive with a forgotten power. I felt it vibrating beneath my skin, an inaudible symphony that resonated deep within my bones. The path twisted, leading us to a vast hall bathed in ethereal light. It was an observatory of sorts, its ceiling a translucent dome opening onto the vast tapestry of the cosmos. In the center stood a massive device, an intricate array of crystalline machinery pulsing with light. My breath caught. This was no ordinary relic. It was a conduit, a communications node designed to link distant worlds, perhaps even dimensions. Kaya's eyes widened. "This is beyond advanced," she breathed, her gaze sweeping over the alien construct. "It could connect entire systems, create a network across galaxies." I nodded, my mind racing with possibilities. The node was dormant yet alive, awaiting activation, a leap into a technological abyss that could unleash wonders or horrors. My fingers itched to touch, to interact with this marvel of ancient engineering, but caution held me back. Suddenly, the air vibrated with a low hum, the crystalline arrays flickering to life. A holographic projection materialized before us, a swirling mass of energy and data forming an image. It resolved into the shape of the Simbratic, its luminescent form flickering like a candle in the wind. Its telepathic message filled the room, a cascade of images and emotions detailing a vast network of similar structures dormant across the galaxy. The relic wasn't a prison, it was a beacon, a safeguard against an encroaching threat. Its message was a call to rally, to unite the galaxy against a shadow looming on the cosmic horizon. Kaya and I exchanged a glance, the enormity of the revelation sinking in. This was no longer a mere adventure, it was a summons to a larger purpose. The thought was as exhilarating as it was terrifying. "So what now?" Kaya asked, her voice steady despite the storm of thoughts swirling in both our heads. "We activate it," I replied, determined yet aware of the weight of the decision. If we succeeded, we could awaken a sleeping alliance. If we failed, we might doom those we sought to save. Our hands moved over the control interface, guided by instinct and the lingering presence of the Symbratic. The device responded, its inner workings glowing like a star brought to life. The observatory filled with light, the structure vibrating in resonance with the activation of the node. As the energy surged, I felt a connection, distant yet palpable, like the universe itself was reaching out to us through the void. The node pulsed with power, sending a beacon into the depths of space, a signal carrying hope and warning in equal measure. In that moment, the enormity of our task was clear. We had igni. Ted a spark, a call to arms in the face of an unknown foe. The universe had expanded around us, and we stood at the brink of a vast, uncharted frontier. Kaya turned to me, her eyes reflecting the glow of the node. "This is only the beginning, isn't it?" "Yeah," I replied, a smile tugging at my lips despite the gravity of our mission. The universe never runs out of surprises. Together we stood amidst the thrumming energy, resolute and ready to face whatever awaited us beyond the distant stars. This was our story, our journey to shape, a tale of discovery, conflict, and the hope of uniting the galaxy before the approaching storm. Part 4: The Gathering Storm. The beacon had been activated, and as the light from the node dimmed, a ripple of anticipation coursed through me. It was as if a silent drumbeat had been struck in the heart of the galaxy, echoing across the cosmic expanse. Kaya and I stood in the dimming radiance of the observatory, the weight of our actions settling on our shoulders like a cloak of stardust. "We did it," Kaya said, her voice a mixture of awe and disbelief. "Now what?" I considered her question, the answers as elusive as a comet's tail. The node's activation was only the beginning, a first step into a world of possibilities and perils. "We wait," I replied, though the words felt hollow. Waiting was not a strength of mine, nor did it suit the gravity of our actions. Back aboard the Rabble Rouser, the familiar hum of the ship was a comforting constant as we charted a course away from the structure. It shrank behind us, a silent sentinel now alive with purpose once more. The vastness of space yawned before us, filled with potential allies or adversaries stirred by the beacon's call. Our first indication that the message had been heard came sooner than expected. An incoming signal flashed across our comms, alien in origin yet unmistakably responding to our broadcast. Kaya glanced at me, her eyes wide with curiosity and caution. "You think it's friendly?" "Only one way to find out," I replied, switching the channel to open a communications link. The voice that emerged was both familiar and strange, a symphony of tones layered like a musician's intricate tapestry. "You have awakened the Nexus," the voice declared, each word resonating with authority and ancient wisdom. "The galaxy stirs." "This is Captain Valen," I replied, my voice steady over the link. "Who am I speaking to?" There was a pause filled with the crackling static of distant stars. "We are the Luminal Council," the voice responded, each syllable precise as though weighed carefully before being released. "Guardians of the cosmic conquered and keepers of the ancient truths." Kaya shot me a glance, her face a canvas of surprise and intrigue. She mouthed, "Ancient truths," and I nodded, sharing her disbelief. "We activated the node," I explained, feeling the enormity of our actions anew. The message was clear, a warning of a threat beyond our understanding. "Indeed," the voice replied, its cool resonance rippling through the cabin. "We have awaited this moment. We believed the Nexus lost, its light extinguished." The conversation unfolded like a dance, intricate and delicate. The Luminal Council spoke in riddles and omens of an ancient alliance forged in the fires of cataclysm, a council of species united against an insidious force that aimed to enslave entire systems. "How do we prepare for this?" Kaya asked, her voice a blade slicing through the veiled language of our mysterious interlocutor. "You must gather the strands," the council instructed, their tone evoking the image of a spider weaving a web across the cosmos. "Bring together the allies, the keepers of the light, and those who dwell in shadow." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving us grappling with its implications. We were no longer isolated explorers, we were messengers and allies in a burgeoning coalition. The stakes had transcended personal curiosity to encompass the fate of countless worlds. "What now?" Kaya asked, echoing the question that had become a refrain in our recent journey. "We start with what we know," I said, plotting a course to the nearest inhabited world, an outpost where rumors of the Luminal Council might find purchase. "Let's find the allies we can and pray they're as motivated to save the galaxy as they are to survive." As stars streamed past the viewscreen, the enormity of our mission settled over me like a second skin, a hum of purpose that resonated with each beat of the ship's engines. The galaxy was vast, and it seemed we were assembling a jigsaw from pieces scattered across the void. Before long, we arrived at a bustling mining colony situated on an asteroid, the kind of place that thrived on the fringes of civil society, where whispers of rebellion often found fertile ground. Kaya and I descended into the heart of the outpost, where the air was thick with dust and the tang of minerals. The miners were a grizzled lot, their eyes wary as they weighed profit against the threat of collapse. As we moved through the throng, searching for those who might listen to our call, I felt the pulse of the Luminal Council's message in my chest, a guide pulling us toward our next great ally or our most dangerous foe. It was in a dimly lit cantina where we made our first contact. An enigmatic figure sat at the far end, a solitary island amid a sea of chaos. Their gaze met mine with an intensity that spoke of shared secrets and unspoken potential. "You're the ones who activated the Nexus," the figure observed, their voice a low murmur masked in shadow. "I've been expecting you." "You believe in the message?" I asked, taking a seat across from them. The figure nodded, their expression gravely serious. "I know the threat and I know what's coming. It's time to wake the others." Kaya leaned in, her eyes reflecting the dim glow of the cantina lights. "So you'll help us?" The figure's smile was a ghost, brief and haunting. "More than that," they replied, "a promise of alliances yet to be forged. I'll lead you to those who can." With that, our path forward became clearer, and the resistance against the encroaching dark took its first breath in defiance. The galaxy was waking, its rallying cry echoing from the depths of forgotten realms to the edges of star-drenched skies. We had begun a journey unlike any other, a gathering of light in the face of the encroaching storm. Part 5: The Fractured Alliance. The cantina's dim glow faded behind us as Kaya, and I followed the enigmatic figure through the labyrinthine corridors of the asteroid outpost. The air was dense with whispers and the clamor of machinery, a cacophony that seemed to pulse in time with the steady hum of the mining operations. Our guide moved with a practiced ease, weaving through crowded passages and shadowy alcoves with the grace of a dancer, their identity shrouded in mystery. As we reached a secluded chamber, the door slid open with a whispered sigh. Inside, the room was a stark contrast to the rough-hewn walls of the colony, a sanctuary of technology and purpose. Holographic displays illuminated the space, casting shimmering reflections across sleek consoles and the gathered faces of those who awaited us. "This is where the echoes converge," our guide announced, gesturing for us to join the assembly at the room's center. "Welcome to the first conclave of light." The figures before us were a diverse array, representatives of far-flung worlds and forgotten tribes. Their expressions ranged from skeptical to hopeful, their presence here a testament to the power of shared vision. I couldn't help but marvel at the convergence of so many disparate paths. Kaya and I exchanged a glance, the weight of the moment reflected in her eyes. Her determination mirrored my own, a shared resolve that had brought us this far. "Thank you for coming," I began, addressing the room. "We've activated the Nexus and the beacon is calling us to unite. We face a threat unlike any other, a force that seeks to engulf our worlds in darkness." "We've heard the rumors," one of the gathered, a tall figure with crystalline skin, replied. Their voice carried the soft chime of wind through glass. "But what proof do you offer? Why should we trust this call?" The question hung in the air, heavy with the weight of past betrayals and the specter of future losses. I understood their hesitation, for trust in the unknown was a perilous gamble. "The Luminal Council has spoken," I replied, allowing the authority of those ancient guardians to bolster my words. "They guard knowledge from the dawn of galactic history, a history we're now a part of." Murmurs rippled through the crowd, a tide of skepticism mingled with curiosity. Our guide stepped forward, their presence commanding attention. "The Council's message is true," they confirmed. "I've seen the signs, the patterns in the stars, the whispers of long-dead prophets." A shared silence descended, the group absorbing the revelation. Hope, fragile yet persistent, flickered in their expressions. It was a delicate flame, one we needed to nurture lest it be extinguished before its time. "We're not asking for blind faith," Kaya interjected, her voice a beacon of pragmatism in the swirling uncertainty. "But consider the consequences of inaction. We don't stand alone unless we choose to be." Her words resonated, a reminder that unity was both a choice and a necessity. One by one, agreements were murmured, tentative yet hopeful pledges to stand against the encroaching dark. The first conclave of light began to take shape, plans forming like constellations against the vastness of space. We discussed potential allies, strategies to awaken dormant nodes, and the need to counter the threat with ingenuity and resolve. Each voice added to the chorus of determination, a burgeoning symphony of hope. Amid the discussions, a new voice emerged, strong, confident, yet edged with urgency. "The shadows gather, and with them comes betrayal." The speaker, a woman with eyes like molten gold, stepped into the center. "We must be vigilant." Her warning was a sobering reminder. In this coalition of light, shadows still played along the edges, and alliances could fracture under their weight. Yet as the gathering continued, an unexpected camaraderie took root, a shared purpose binding us together. As the meeting drew to a close, Kaya and I found ourselves lingering near the edge of the room, our thoughts aligning with the rhythm of this nascent alliance. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, yet each step brought us closer to unity in the face of the unknown. "Quite the crowd we've gathered, huh?" Kaya remarked, her tone light but laced with the gravity of our mission. "Yeah," I replied, feeling the anticipation thrumming through me. "It's a start, but we'll need more." Our guide appeared beside us, their presence a comforting anchor amid the chaos. "This is only the beginning," they assured us, their voice a promise that resonated in my bones. "The galaxy is vast, and so are the allies we've yet to awaken." As the conclave dispersed, I felt the momentum of our journey carrying us forward, a tidal force that refused to be denied. The Luminal Council's message had taken root, and against the backdrop of the infinite, we were forging a path that could alter the course of history. The Rabble Rouser awaited, its knees poised to launch us toward our next destination. The galaxy was awakening, and as our ship lifted from the dusty surface of the asteroid outpost, I couldn't shake the feeling that our journey had only just begun. The stars shimmered in the viewport, each a point of light illuminating the darkness. We were a part of something larger than ourselves, a current weaving through the cosmos as old as time. And as we charted our course to awaken the next node, I knew with unshakable certainty that our story was one of hope, resilience, and the gathering storm that would shape the destiny of countless worlds. Part 6: The Celestial Veil. The Rabble Rouser sailed through the inky expanse, a solitary vessel carrying the weight of 1,000 decisions. Each star we passed was a reminder of the potential allies spread across the galaxy, each system a potential stronghold in our gathering coalition. Kaya sat beside me in the cockpit, her eyes reflecting the starlight as she scanned the endless horizon. "We're heading deeper into the uncharted," she said, adjusting the controls with a deft touch. "Any clue what we might find?" "Hopefully another node," I replied, the anticipation threading my voice. "And allies. We need more voices if we're going to make the Council's vision a reality." Our destination was a region known as the Celestial Veil, a stretch of space shrouded in mystery and legend, like a curtain drawn across the galaxy's hidden face. Stories of lost ships and forgotten civilizations whispered through its fog, tales that both thrilled and warned adventurers to approach with caution. As we neared the edge of the veil, I felt the subtle shift in the ship's atmosphere, the hum of our engines resonating with the charged particles dancing outside. It was like entering a dream, the boundary between reality and myth blurring with each mile we crossed. "Keep an eye on the sensors," I advised Kaya, feeling the gravity of our task settling on my shoulders like a familiar weight. "The Veil has a reputation for playing tricks." She nodded, her fingers poised over the controls with the precision of a conductor leading an orchestra. "Just another day in the unknown," she quipped, her smile a reassuring anchor in the swirling uncertainty. The veil enveloped us, its luminous fog casting an ethereal glow over the cockpit. I watched as shapes emerged from the mist, silhouettes of ancient vessels drifting through the haze, remnants of those who had ventured here long before our time. It felt like navigating through a graveyard of dreams, each ship a ghostly reminder of past endeavors. Among the wreckage loomed a structure, its outline both alien and achingly familiar. Like the megastructure before, it was a relic of the Nexus, a node waiting to be awakened from its slumber. My heart quickened at the sight, the promise of discovery pulling us closer. Kaya brought the Rabble Rouser alongside the node, our ship dwarfed by its vast expanse. We docked with practiced precision, stepping into the structure's hushed corridors with a sense of déjà vu. The air here was thick with anticipation, the silence charged with the echoes of forgotten eras. The central chamber awaited us, its architecture a blend of organic beauty and technological elegance. Crystalline panels shimmered with an inner light, their glow guiding us to the heart of this celestial relic. We approached with reverence, the ghostly whispers of the past urging us onward. "What do you think this one holds?" Kaya asked, her voice barely above a whisper as we reached the control interface. "More answers," I replied, the words a prayer as much as an expectation. I placed my hand on the console, feeling the node awaken beneath my touch. Lights flared to life, casting the chamber in a kaleidoscope of colors. As before, a holographic projection materialized, a map of the galaxy woven with lines and nodes, each point an anchor in the vast web of the Nexus. But this time, the image was different, a shift in the pattern that spoke of a deeper truth. It's a network, Kaya realized, her eyes wide with wonder. A map of the other nodes, we can see where they are. I nodded, studying the intricate design, a lattice of connections stretching across light years, each node a beacon waiting to be rekindled. The beauty of the map belied the complexity of its creation, a masterwork of art and science fused in perfect harmony. As we absorbed the revelation, a new presence made itself known, a signal emanating from the node, its tone urgent and insistent. It spoke of a warning, a danger looming on the horizon that threatened to unravel the delicate balance we sought to restore. Look, Kaya pointed to a cluster of nodes darkened on the map, their absence a glaring void in the tapestry. They've gone silent. The realization struck like lightning, the implications sending a chill through my veins. Something or someone was disrupting the network, severing the ties that bound the galaxy together. We need to act, I said, the urgency of our mission solidifying in my mind. If we don't prevent this, everything we've worked for could unravel. Kaya nodded, her resolve mirroring my own. Let's get back to the others. The sooner they know, the better. As we returned to the Rabble Rouser, the weight of our discovery settled over us like a second skin. The galaxy was a lattice of possibilities, and we were the weavers tasked with restoring its light. The path forward was fraught with challenges, but our purpose was clear, a beacon in the shadowed corridors of uncertainty. The Veil Ray. Seated as we set our course, its secrets now a part of our shared journey. As stars flared to life outside the viewport, I felt a renewed sense of determination. We had awakened a sleeping alliance, and though the darkness encroached, it was met by the steady light of those who refused to falter. In the face of the gathering storm, we were more than explorers. We were guardians of the galaxy's fragile harmony, united in our quest to bind together what was threatened with dissolution. The journey was only beginning, and with each pulse of the Rabble Rouser's engines, we moved closer to a future forged by our resolve and illuminated by the promise of hope. Part 7. The Shattered Echo. As the Rabble Rouser carried us away from the looming expanse of the celestial veil, I found myself immersed in contemplation. The map from the node weighed heavily on my mind, its luminous lines and darkened voids a stark reminder of the fragility of our mission. Each point of light represented hope, yet the shadowed gaps threatened to unravel the tapestry we sought to mend. Kaya sat beside me in the cockpit, her expression mirroring the tension I felt. "So, how do we play this?" she asked, scanning the vast expanse of space before us. "With nodes going dark, how do we figure out what's causing it?" "We need to rally the others," I replied, setting a course toward the nearest Allied outpost. "The Conclave must be informed, and together we can strategize." Our destination was a haven known for its neutrality, a hub of trade and diplomacy where the Council could gather without fear of immediate threat. As we approached, the outpost flickered into view, a city of light suspended among the stars. It was a beacon of civilization, a sanctuary among the chaotic unknown. The docking procedure was smooth, the station's automated systems guiding us into a berth with the gentle precision of a practiced hand. As we disembarked, the vibrant bustle of the outpost surrounded us, a mixture of languages and cultures blending in a symphony of voices. We navigated through the crowds, making our way to the council chamber where the conclave had convened. As we entered, the room buzzed with anticipation, the gathered delegates turning their attention toward us. Our arrival was met with a mix of curiosity and concern, a silent acknowledgement of the urgency that gripped the air. "The network is being disrupted," I announced, addressing the assembly. "We've seen the map. The nodes are going dark, and we need to act before it's too late." A hush fell over the room, the weight of my words sinking in. The delegates exchanged glances, their expressions a tapestry of determination and dread. "What do you propose?" asked the woman with molten gold eyes, her gaze sharp as a blade. "We need to mobilize," Kaya interjected, her voice steady and clear. "Send reconnaissance teams to the affected areas, find out what's causing the disruptions and put a stop to it." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, the delegates nodding in unison. It was a plan born of necessity, a strategy that required swift action and unwavering resolve. "The conclave stands with you," declared a crystalline-skinned figure, their voice ringing with the sound of a gentle chime. "Together, we'll safeguard the Nexus." The room erupted into a flurry of activity, plans forming like constellations against the backdrop of impending darkness. Assignments were distributed, ships prepared for launch, and alliances solidified under the shared banner of survival. As the meeting drew to a close, I found myself standing at the edge of the room, Kaya at my side. The air buzzed with energy, a collective determination infusing the atmosphere with hope. "Looks like we've got our work cut out for us," Kaya remarked, her tone light but resolute. "Yeah," I agreed, the magnitude of our task both daunting and invigorating. "But we've got the galaxy on our side." Our task was clear: to unravel the mystery of the darkened nodes and restore the light of the Nexus. But as we prepared to depart, a new complication emerged, a message from an unlikely source. A transmission blinked across my comms, its origin obscured but urgent. It was a distress signal, faint and fragmented, yet unmistakably real. The voice on the other end was desperate, pleading for aid in a language I couldn't quite place. "The signal's coming from the edge of the known galaxy," Kaya said, studying the coordinates. "It's off-grid, uncharted territory." The decision weighed heavily as I considered our options. The mission was to restore the nodes, but the distress call pulled at my conscience, a reminder of the lives at stake beyond our immediate task. "We have to investigate," I decided, feeling the pull of an unseen tether. "If someone's in trouble, we need to help." Kaya nodded, her expression one of shared understanding. "Then let's go. We're not about to leave anyone stranded on our watch." With the Conclave's blessing, we set out toward the source of the signal, the Rabble Rouser cutting through space like an arrow loosed from a bow. The stars streamed by, each one a silent witness to our journey as we ventured into the unknown. The coordinates led us to a system on the edge of the galaxy, its star a dim ember casting long shadows over a solitary planet. As we entered orbit, the distress signal strengthened, guiding us toward a settlement tucked away in the planet's rugged terrain. We landed on a barren plain, the air thick with the scent of dust and desperation. The settlement appeared before us, a scattering of makeshift structures, their surfaces battered by the elements yet standing resilient against the odds. Kaya and I disembarked, our boots sinking into the gritty soil as we approached the settlement's heart. The inhabitants emerged, their faces a tapestry of relief and weariness, welcoming us as beacons of hope in their darkened world. The leader of the settlement stepped forward, their voice a blend of gratitude and fear. "Thank you for answering our call. We've been under siege, something has been attacking our defenses, and we can't hold out much longer." My heart sank at the sight of their plight, yet the echo of the Nexus resounded within me, a reminder that we were not alone in this struggle, that our fates were intertwined in the fabric of the galaxy. As we listened to their plight, a plan began to form, threads of strategy weaving together in the tapestry of resilience and hope. The road ahead was fraught with challenges, yet the promise of unity drove us forward, a beacon of light amid the encroaching shadow. Together, we would stand against the darkness, a constellation of allies forging a new path across the starlit void. Part 8. The Luminous Stratagem. The settlement lay nestled among rugged cliffs, its buildings hunkered against the elements like ancient sentinels. As we approached, the air was heavy with the tension of impending conflict. The leader, a grizzled veteran with eyes as sharp as asteroid shards, guided us through the encampment, detailing the relentless attacks that had left their defenses on the brink of collapse. "We've repelled them so far, but our resources are stretched thin," the leader explained, their voice a mixture of weariness and resolve. "Whatever it is, it's relentless like a shadow you can't shake." Kaya and I exchanged a glance, our resolve crystallizing in the face of this tangible threat. The distress call had been more than a plea for help. It was a summons to action, a chance to prove that the coalition we sought to build could withstand even the darkest onslaught. "We'll help strengthen your defenses," I assured the leader, determination threading my words. "And find out what's behind these attacks. We won't let you stand alone." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the landscape in a wash of crimson and gold, we set to work alongside the settlers. Kaya led a team to reinforce barricades and repair energy shields, her engineering prowess a beacon of hope amid the chaos. Meanwhile, I coordinated patrols, ensuring that no corner of the settlement remained vulnerable. The settlement's inhabitants moved with a quiet efficiency, their movements a testament to their resilience. Despite their dire circumstances, they maintained an unwavering resolve, each task a step toward survival. Night descended like a cloak, shadows pooling in the crevices of the land. As the first stars emerged, the air crackled with anticipation, a tangible tension that set my nerves on edge. "Do you feel that?" Kaya asked, joining me at the edge of the encampment. Her gaze swept the darkened horizon, alert and vigilant. "Yeah," I replied, my senses attuned to the subtle shifts in the atmosphere. The world seemed to hold its breath, the calm before the storm. Then, like a thunderclap in the stillness, the first attack came. Shadows burst from the darkness, automated drones, sleek and deadly, their forms gliding through the night with lethal grace. They descended upon the settlement with precision, targeting energy points and strategic defenses. The battle unfurled in a symphony of sound and motion, a dance of light and shadow that echoed across the barren landscape. Kaya was a whirlwind of focused energy, directing countermeasures with a deft hand, her voice a steadying force amid the chaos. I joined the fray, coordinating defense lines and providing cover for those holding the perimeter. The night was alive with the hum of energy weapons and the shouts of defenders, a tapestry of defiance against the encroaching dark. Despite their ferocity, the drones were not invincible. One by one, they faltered under the combined efforts of the settlement's defenders and our own intervention. Their destruction marked a hard-won victory, a testament to the strength of unity in the face of adversity. As the dust settled and the first light of dawn crept across the horizon, the air was filled with both relief and the lingering tension of uncertainty. The drones had been defeated, yet questions remained. What was their origin, and what force had set them upon the settlement? The leader of the settlement approached, gratitude and resolve mingling in their expression. "You've given us a fighting chance," they said, their voice resonating with a newfound hope, "but we must know what we're up against." I nodded, my thoughts aligning with the urgency of their request. "We'll get to the bottom of this," I promised. "We need to trace the signal, find out who's pulling the strings." With the immediate threat abated, Kaya and I joined the settlement's tech team, dissecting the remains of the fallen drones. Each piece of technology was a clue, each circuit a step closer to unraveling the mystery behind the attack. The work was meticulous, a delicate dance of logic and intuition. As we delved deeper, a pattern emerged, a signature hidden in the drone's command matrix, a digital fingerprint that hinted at something far more sinister. "What do you think?" Kaya asked, her brow furrowed in concentration as she examined the data. "This is no random skirmish," I replied, tracing the signature to its source. "It's deliberate, coordinated. Someone's orchestrating this and we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg." Kaya's eyes met mine, a spark of resolve igniting between us. "Then we'll find them," she declared, the words of vow etched in the fabric of our shared journey. As the sun rose over the settlement, casting its light across the landscape, I felt the first stirrings of a new resolve, a clarity that cut through the shadows of doubt. The journey ahead was fraught with challenges, yet the promise of unity and the strength of our alliance promised to light the way. Together we would unravel the web of deception, a beacon of hope against the encroaching dark. The galaxy was vast, its secrets myriad, but we were determined to uncover the truth and forge a path toward a future shaped by resilience and the enduring light of the Nexus. Part 9. The Enigma's Shad. Under the pale morning light, the settlement buzzed with a newfound energy. The immediate threat had passed, yet the air was thick with the lingering scent of charred drones and the questions they left behind. We had won a battle, but the war loomed large and tantalizingly out of reach, like a distant star obscured by cosmic dust. Kaya and I stood in the heart of the settlement's makeshift operations center, surrounded by the debris of the night's conflict. The settlers moved around us with purpose, their resolve solidified by survival, their spirits buoyed by the promise of a new day. "Okay," Kaya said, her voice cutting through the low murmur of activity. "We've traced the signal to its source, but it's encrypted, won't be easy to crack." I stared at the data stream projected on the screen before us, a cascade of symbols and sequences that danced with a life of their own. "We know it's deliberate," I replied, the pieces of the puzzle beginning to align in my mind. "Someone's pulling the strings, and they've gone to great lengths to stay hidden." As we worked, the leader of the settlement joined us, their expression a blend of gratitude and determination. "You've bought us time," they said, nodding toward the bustling activity outside. "What do you need to finish this?" "Resources," I replied, gesturing to the tangle of wires and components spread across the table. "And time. We need to break through this encryption and find out who's behind it all." The leader nodded, a spark of understanding igniting in their eyes. "Whatever you need, it's yours. We won't let them take this place from us." With the settlers rallying to our cause, we set to work with renewed purpose, the weight of our mission driving us forward. Kaya was a whirlwind of focus, her fingers flying over the console with practiced precision as she unraveled the digital threads. Hours passed in a blur of code and calculations, each breakthrough a step closer to the truth. The sun reached its zenith, casting long shadows across the settlement, a reminder that time was of the essence. "Got it," Kaya announced, her voice a triumphant note in the stillness of the room. "We've found the source, a hidden facility on the edge of the system." My heart quickened at the revelation, the path before us unfolding like a trail of stardust. "Then that's where we go," I said, determination threading my words. "We'll head there, uncover whoever's orchestrating this, and put an end to it." The plan was set in motion with urgency and precision, the settlers providing us with the resources we needed for the journey ahead. Our destination was a facility shrouded in secrecy, its very existence erased from official records, a ghost in the machinery of the galaxy. As we prepared to depart, the leader approached one final time, their expression a mask of resolve. "We owe you a debt," they said, their voice firm. "Whatever you find, know that you have allies here." I nodded, the promise of unity a beacon in the darkened landscape of uncertainty. "We'll be back," I assured them. "And when we return, it will be with answers." The Rabble Rouser launched from the settlement, its engines a harmonious symphony as we set a course for the hidden facility. The stars stretched out before us in an endless tapestry, their light a guide through the void. The journey was a silent vigil, the weight of expectation and the promise of unraveling the conspiracy driving us forward. Kaya and I shared a moment of camaraderie, the bond forged through shared trials and the determination to see this through to its end. Hours turned to light years, and as we approached our destination, the facility loomed on the horizon like a specter from a forgotten era. Its architecture was a stark contrast to the surrounding landscape, a monolith of steel and shadow against the backdrop of distant stars. "We're here," Kaya said, her voice a whisper in the silence, her fingers dancing over the controls as we approached. The facility was heavily fortified, its defenses a formidable barrier against unwanted guests. Yet as we drew near, the sensors detected a weakness, an anomaly in the energy grid, a chink in the armor that could be our way inside. "Looks like we've got an entry point," I said, pointing to the readout on the screen. "We'll use it to slip in, find out what they're hiding, and get the answers we need." With precision and stealth, we maneuvered the Rabble Rouser into position, our approach masked by the facility's own energy fluctuations. The docking procedure was seamless, the ship melding with the structure's exterior like a shadow absorbed by dusk. We disembarked, the silence of the facility a stark contrast to the chaos we had left behind. The air was thick with the scent of cold metal and dormant machinery, the stillness a deceptive calm in the heart of this enigma. "Stay sharp," Kaya advised, her voice a thread of caution as we navigated the lab. Eranthine corridors. Each step echoed with the promise of discovery, a path woven through the fabric of hidden truths. As we delved deeper into the facility, the air thrummed with anticipation, each corner a potential revelation. The answers we sought lay hidden within these walls, a tapestry of intrigue and betrayal waiting to be unraveled. Together we moved forward, the light of the Nexus our guide, our shared journey a testament to the strength of unity against the shadows of deceit. The galaxy was vast, its mysteries myriad, but we were determined to pierce the veil and illuminate the path to a future shaped by resilience and the enduring promise of hope.